Now, you gave a presentation about hacking cars. We kind of got into this whole hacking drones
That's
things,
all right.
but hacking cars, the presentation you gave, I was absolutely fascinated by it.
Thanks.
How easy is it to hack someone's car?
Thank goodness it's still pretty difficult. Not everything is run through the control area network of your car.
Right.
There are lots of proprietary systems, and then every manufacturer handles those signals running across your car's network a little bit differently. So a hack that will work for a Toyota won't work for a Mazda usually. The same thing for even two different models from the same manufacturer may not handle those same signals the same way. So really, right now, the good news is that cars are still pretty secure from hacking. We do see a few big publicized events happen every now and then, like hacking the BMW i3, hacking a Tesla, those few isolated incidents. But really, a car hacker has to be very targeted right now because every automobile manufacturer and every make and model is slightly different, and that's just enough to make it harder to do something like you'd see in some of the Hollywood movies, Fast and Furious, for example.
Right,
We
where
can't
they
make
allegedly
every
hack
car.
every car, go
Exactly.
after the Russian guy with the nuclear codes. Yeah.
There's still a little bit
In the middle of Times
science
Square.
fiction there, right?
Yeah.
But if you're trying to target one particular vehicle, motivated hacker with some reverse engineering skills can figure out enough to see what is possible. And that's really where we start with our students. We have them look at the control area network in a simulated car like we used in the presentation the other day. And all those tools are open source and free. Anybody who's already doing some ethical hacking can install the CAN utils, the control area network utilities for a car, and try some basic car hacking right on a regular laptop computer. But then for about $20 to $75, you can buy the cable to actually plug into your car. I didn't start out as a car hacker. I started out as somebody who wanted to be able to work on their vehicle. But the average production car could have 50 or 60 chips in it, these electronic control units. So it's not like it used to be where you just learned how to change the oil, change the timing belt, work on the transmission. Now you need to understand a little bit about the chips that are really controlling most of the functions in your car. And so our students really enjoy that piece of it, figuring out how one car works. And then understanding some of the basics that apply to all automobiles. But the short version of the answer would be that it's still pretty tough to hack a lot of vehicles. But for one specific vehicle, you can usually find something that you can replay on that network.
Is the presentation you gave public?
Yes. In fact, if you go to brysonpayne.com, my website has the entire instructions for setting up a virtual car hacking lab.
Bryson Payne, BrysonPayne.com for
Thanks,
that. And that's really cool. I mean, you believe me, you want to see how this is done because, I mean, I was flabbergasted at how easy it is and really how cheap it is to do it.
Absolutely.
And if you're, if you...
Well, whether you want to work on your own car or if you really want to test your car to see if it's got some vulnerabilities, the tools are accessible. Like I said, you pretty much have to redo it for every different vehicle, even the same manufacturer for different models.
Just different models, yeah.
Right.
Because, I mean, Tesla, the Model S and Model 3 are two very, very different cars.
Absolutely.
I mean, hardware, software-wise, it's
That's
insane.
right.
But they're fun to drive.